now on day 6 on St. Nevis, our third dock. Okay, so we're excited to explore in this country. However, it seems gloomy and a little drizzle, so I hope it's not going to rain really like that. Welcome to St. Kitts and Nevis. This is our third dock of our Royal Caribbean cruise by Grandeur of the Seas. Now, if you're interested of our cruise experience and more excursion on that cruise, then visit my YouTube channel. St. Kitts and Nevis is a dual island nation situated between the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea. It's known for cloud-shrouded mountains and beaches. Many of these former sugar plantations are now inns or atmospheric ruins. St. Kitts Island is much larger than Nevis. And St. Kitts is popular because of this dormant Mount Liamwiga volcano. Another one is the Crater Lake. And also they're popular with the green vervet monkeys. They also have rainforests. So if you're into hiking and trails, this is for you. And since St. Kitts and Nevis were among the first islands in the Caribbean to be colonized by Europeans, it was settled around 1620s by English and French colonists. And they built Brimstone Hill Fortress. And now it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site of historical, culture, and architectural significance. And now it's a national park and well-preserved example of 17th and 18th century military. And since we're only here for a few hours, we can only visit few, because we don't want to be left by our cruise. So it was a gloomy day and we walked towards our port as we docked. So there we will meet our tour guide. And since it's Caribbean, of course, the water is so pretty. Now, the first thing about the port is it's a busy port and there's a lot of people at that moment. It's very chaotic and noisy. There's 2 ships at the moment that just docked, including us. And of course, expect there's a lot of tourists. And we have to stay here to wait for our tour guide. So at last we're ready in our bus and we noticed there's a lot of militaries. It's like they're on red alert.
This is the island of Nevis. It's 35 square miles with a population of 15,000 people.
And our tour guide show us around, explaining every location like this park.
We transported over into the square, which is in front of us, which back then was also a slave market, where the slaves, they were auctioned off to the highest bidders of the tobacco and also sugar plantations. So a number of these buildings around Independence Square will have those sellers on the bottom. So the area on the left is also the largest open space in a city of Bastia, or Independence Square. It was once called the Palmer Square. Now directly in front of us we have our courthouse. The original courthouse unfortunately was burned to the ground by a fire in 1982. The building, it retained the same style but of concrete with the own colored
This is a volcanic rock.
School that child attends. So from daycare kids all the way up to our local college, everyone will use.
And also he explained to us each architecture and the description of each buildings and the importance of it. And also the main one is this oldest wooden building with its original structure and it's still standing. We also passed this one of St. Kitts landmark, this green clock tower. This is the Berkeley Memorial, the circus, a roundabout that creates an interesting focal point with its green clock tower. It was erected in 1883 as a memorial of Thomas Berkeley Hartman Berkeley, a planner and legislator of St. Kitts. He was the president of the General Legislative Council of the Leeward Island Federation.
And on the right side we have the public market. So you can get fresh fish, and on the right side you get your fresh produce.
Wow.
So here's where the farmers will.
And we kept touring and he's showing us around. It's just really amazing how different life here in St. Kitts. Also, same with other countries, you will see different walks of life, seeing different types of home, the architecture, but still you can really see how simple their life is. That's why I love to see other countries and emerging with their culture.
The spikes actually go all around the tree. So the spikes is actually what protects the nest.
Yes, what you see are birds, and they are popular at St. Kitts called egrets. And they are on an acacia tree, and it's called Acacia farnesiana. This tree thrives on dry, rocky hills. The colloquial name of needlebush explains why this evergreen hosts a flock of cattle egrets. The branches are lined with long, thin, and sharp thorns. They provide the colonies of nesting birds with protection from predators.
Our main focus is tourism.
And this is their medicine school. So as you see, guys, it's quite a big property. And a good building and really, really nice building. It's amazing. And also an ongoing construction of this luxury hotel, and they're excited for it to finish.
Two more still under construction. This is one on the left, and like I said earlier, it's a little bit coastal, so the main road, also the train tracks. You can see a remain of it coming up shortly. That also used to run all the way along the island. Train tracks was mainly used just for the sugar in the so in ocean. Two of those located right in Old World Village. That's why the Indians chose this section of the island to live in.
On our way now for our first stop, which is the Caribelle Batik, a factory where they make a batik clothing. And of course, we passed a lot of interesting stuffs. And as you see, guys, there's a map here that will lead you to Caribelle Batik, the distillery, the rum tasting, and museums. So if you're here, especially for a few days, you will really definitely gonna experience the life and their history here. And like this, guys, this is one of the former plantation. Now it's a ruins. Before it is a sugarcane plantation.
So the water, like I said, will come across the aqueduct that was spinning the wheel that was right here to grind the sugarcane, also power the plantation with electricity. This section is known as the fire tunnel. Also up top, the steps, you will see three different areas. So they would have three copper pots. Each copper pot back then would be on a different temperature of fire. And then they will take the liquid out, put it in some barrels, let it sit for a couple months. So if you guys ever gonna do a zip line office, you can also come down, taste different types of rum. And for the brave folks, you actually zip line over the rainforest, 250 feet above the rainforest. And now you get a little view.
And yes, we had to pass a rainforest. And it's a good thing because for a different sightseeing, different ambience. But no worries, especially if you are in a tour guide. Of course, you are inside the van or bus. And it's a good road, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to experience the rainforest, of course, as what he said a while ago, there's a zip line or you can do some trail and hike.
Over 400 years old. It's called the African salmon.
And yes, guys, you heard it right. This tree is 400 years old. It's been there since the natives, and they believe it's with native Indians. The home where the Caribelle Batik is named Romney Manor. And you know what's the interesting story of this Romney Manor? And guess who's the former owner of it? It's Sam Jefferson, the great-great-great-great-great-grandfather of a former president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. Sad to say there's a dark story behind it, but I'm just going to explain to you that later on. But for now, we are going to tour first and show you how beautiful this place is, the Romney Manor, and show you how beautiful and artistic the Caribelle Batik. It's a simple and a beautiful home. If you are into simple life, quiet but large property, this is for you. They have a lot of tropical plants here, which is common in my country, Philippines. And when I saw it, it reminds me a lot in my home. No wonder why Sam Jefferson took the property, because it's such a beautiful area overlooking. You will see the ocean and it's really beautiful. We're inside now at Caribelle Batik Factory, and as you see, there's a lot of art and work around us, and they will show us how it is made.
Start now. Okay. I'm going to explain what we do here. The art we do, it is called Batik. Batik is a process of waxing and dyeing. The wax is used to protect colors from each other. And so we start like this with a white piece of fabric. We have an artist who draw our design. Lay this trace when the artist drawing onto the cloth with a pencil. We're going to apply a mixture of beeswax and pumpkin wax onto the areas we want to stay white. We apply the wax on one side, it goes right through the other side. To apply the wax to the fine areas, use a tool like this. It's called a janting tool or a wax pen. And for wider areas, is a normal paintbrush. Having the wax in the areas you want to stay white, you take it off the frame, dip in a cold water, color fast dye. This has been dipped into the dye. The white areas is where we wax first. The wax is still on. And we want to keep some of this color. We're going to apply more wax. We continue waxing and dyeing until we have all the colors. If you need 5 colors, we are going to wax it 5 times and dye it 5 times. After having the 5 colors, we'll boil it for 30 minutes. The wax will flow, we skim it off. Most of it can be recycled. That can be washed by hand or by machine. They will never shrink. That can be ironed. You can throw them in the dryer to be dry. This is our masterpiece. 5 color that is. 5 waxing, 5 dyeing, 9 days for. Now that piece went through all the different stages on the wall here, from trace all the way across the final color. The more colors, the longer it takes. To tell genuine batik, same on both sides. There is no right or wrong side.
Oh, wow.
That is the batik is done. Do you have any questions for me?
What piece of fabric?
Cotton. 100% cotton, yes.
Where do you get the dyes?
We import the dyes. Yes.
Is it fabric dye? Did you get a specific fabric dye?
After teaching us how to make batik, of course, we are able to shop inside and see what they have here to offer. And to be honest, it's quite expensive. It's very touristy and American dollar price. After batik making, of course, we were exploring, taking photos for Instagram. Actually, nothing much to do here. You just come and visit here and see how they make batik, or if you want to shop and buy their clothes. But other than that, nothing much. It's just good for an hour visit and just to immerse their culture. So let's talk about the history of this place. This is a petroglyph found in the estate. It is to believe, and based on the evidence, before European settlers came to the island in 1623, there's a lot of evidence stating that the Carib Indian chief Tegriman's village occupied this place. Romney Manor and Wingfield Estate have had only 5 family owners to the date. The first one is Sam Jefferson II, the great-great-great-grandfather of Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States, who purchased the property in 1625. The modest house once named the Red House to reflect Jefferson's Quaker roots. The dark part was, when Europeans came on 1626, they massacred the Carib Indians to take over the locations. The site was originally where King Tegriman, the Carib Indian leader, had his settlement. However, following his demise, Sam Jefferson, one of the original settlers, claimed it as his own. By the mid-17th century, Sam Jefferson sold part of Wingfield Estate to the Earl of Romney, and it called Romney Manor. As we left Romney Manor and Batik Factory, he introduced us to this long-dried seed pod, and it does look like an acacia tree seed pod. The difference is this one is very long, but this came from red flamboyant tree. Children used to use the pods as a musical instrument while playing games, and they call it shak-shak. The flower of this flamboyant tree is their national flower. It's named Ponciana or flamboyant, named after Monsieur de Poncy, the first French governor of St. Kitts. Shake it.
It's like a boomerang.
Shake it, not eat it. Like a boomerang.
Yeah, it's shaped like a boomerang.
Let's see if it works. Open your window.
Eat it, baby. Eat it. Tres leches. And this grass also cracked me up because we have this in Philippines and they call it different here in St. Kitts. Dog pee?
Now located inside a palm
Yes,
tree,
fresh dog pee.
said to be halfway between the
This is not tanglad, baby. In Philippines, we call tanglad. We put it in the we put it in the
chimneys
soup.
that on the island of St. Kitts.
We cook with it.
Also known
Yeah, he
as
said they make
fisherman's
tea with it for
Yeah,
headaches.
it tastes good.
But as we
Next stop is Brimstone Hill Fortress, and it's belonged to UNESCO World Heritage Site, an exceptional and world-preserved example of 17th and 18th century military architecture. You cannot just drive here alone, guys. You really need to have a tour guide and professional driver, because this is just one way. Mostly tours here on a bus or big vehicle, and imagine it's so freaking tight and you have to squeeze in. Like this, guys, we had to stop and wait for this big bus to pass. One way only, one way. Squeeze it.
Put your mirrors in.
And another tour, they had to stop so that we can pass.
Yep. And on the bottom of the village, this stretches actually where the French used to occupy. Behind a bit is all the abandoned sugarcane areas. So we still do.
This Brimstone has a really long entrance, and like this another bus coming out, and we always have to stop and make sure we give a signal like a horn so that they know that we're coming in.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are already in the fortress, the UNESCO. As we got in here, guys, we had to go first for the orientation room. Basically, we are gonna watch a short documentary and a video about history of this place. But to be honest, we didn't even understand much because the quality of the video is bad. And we just waited till it's over. And also, we're not allowed to do a video inside there. And after that, we went to a souvenir shop and bought some souvenirs before we start our tour. It's a self-guided tour. We have an hour to roam around and check the property, take videos and photos, and document everything. And we start our incline. So actually, this is 800 feet high. So if you have a problem with breathing and lungs, I don't think this is for you. Everything you see here, the rocks and the walls are all man-made and from the hard volcanic rock. The mortar to cement the stones was produced on the site from the limestone, which covers much of the middle and lower slopes. The fortress, constructed intermittently between the 1690s and the 1790s, is of singular importance as being the remains of a large, complete military community of the 18th century. The prominent citadel is one of the earliest and finest surviving example of a new style of fortification known as polygonal system. Brimstone Hill is nearly 800 feet high with steep and precipitous slopes which had to be tamed by the disciplines of engineering and architecture and at risk and probable loss of human lives. The walls of the structures are predominantly of stone, laboriously and skillfully fashioned from the hard volcanic rock of which the hill is composed. The physical location of the fortress presents attractive panoramic vistas of forested mountains, cultivated fields, the historical township of Sandy Point and neighboring Dutch, English and French island across the Caribbean Sea. That's crazy how they make all these stuffs very clean. It's really a beautiful fortress, so we decided to go down to tour more as there are another ruins on the other side, so we have to walk all the way there, but it's gonna be fun. It's amazing how they built this without any equipment, just hard labor, man-made. Imagine how many lives have lost just to build this. And as what I've read, of course, built by slaves that they brought from Africa. So this is one of the ruins. So I don't know really what's in here. I think it's also for overlooking purpose or maybe another barracks because it's in the other side to overlook It's really windy and the weather is not really cooperating anymore. So we're trying our best to tour and take video as much as we can before it starts to rain. So this is what it looks like on a drone view or bird's eye. Gorgeous and massive. And we're heading out now. And this is my most favorite part of our tour in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we're heading now to our last stop, the Timothy Hill, one of iconic tourist spot in St. Kitts, and use this spot on their promotional ads and posters. Timothy Hill is popular because of these two oceans. The Atlantic Ocean meet the Caribbean Sea at the island's southwest peninsula. Just a heads up guys, behind the scene there's a lot of vendors, especially a local guy who owns a lot of vervet monkey or green monkeys. They dress the monkeys so they look cute, but do not take pictures with them because they will ask money. But it's up to you. But actually, to be honest, I regret not taking photos with them because it's one of those experiences. And this is one of the popular hotels they have there. And we left the Timothy Hill guys and we're heading back on our cruise ship. And he dropped us to our port, and there's a lot of local stores and souvenir shops still, and we decided to tour around since we still have a lot of time before our cruise will start sailing. We really enjoyed St. Kitts and Nevis, especially emerging and knowing more of their culture. So that's our tour here in St. Kitts and Nevis, guys. I hope you enjoyed our video. And if you want to see more our cruise and excursion experience, just go ahead and check my YouTube channel. Thank you again, guys.